Hey, good morning. It's Edna Keep here live with Free Coaching Friday. And today we're going to talk about the monetary costs of closing a multifamily deal. And again, if you need my help closing your multifamily deal or even finding your first multifamily deal, reach out to me at 90days-to-5k.com or edna@ednakeep.com. So the monetary cost. So a little bit different than residential because with residential, basically your costs are, maybe an inspection on the property and then your legal fees to close it. There might be some property taxes, water heaters, different stuff like that could make some changes in your costs right at the legal. And then of course the land titles transfer cost. But with multifamily, there's quite a bit more. There is, and again, depending on what financing you're looking for, but if you're looking through CMHC financing, there's CMHC application fees. There are CMHC closing fees, I guess you'd call it. If we use a mortgage broker, there's a mortgage broker fee. There is a fee for a building condition report, which you have to do. There is a fee for an environmental report that you have to do on multifamily. And if you get any kind of issues that they find or find something that, a gas station or dry cleaners that's been close, you might also have a second environmental cost called a phase 2, which is even more. So there's many monetary costs that are different from residential. So when you're looking to buy that multifamily, make sure you take all that into consideration. A lot of people don't; they just think of their closing costs the same as residential. And then of course, title transfer fees, legal fees is the same, and it's usually a percentage of the value of the property. So that again, if you're used to dealing with a $200,000 property and you move to a $1 million or $4 million property, it's a big deal. So if you forget about that, you're going to find yourself in trouble. Now, one of the things that's really important is try not to incur any costs till you know your deal is in the bag. A lot of people think, immediately. I got to order that inspection report. I got to order that environmental report and all that kind of stuff and start costing you money. That's not where you start. You start with sending your deal immediately to a mortgage broker to help you start figuring out the order that things are going to be done. So they will work through your numbers with you. They will start asking you for backup. So what's the leases, what are the expenses, different stuff like that, and you got to prove it. So you have to actually get all that stuff from the seller. All that stuff, it takes time, but there's no monetary cost for you unless you're hiring an assistant, and then again it's minimal and you have to get it done. So get it done. Then you can, they will give you a preliminary notice that says, yes, we can finance this. It's probably going to be this interest rate, probably this amortization. Now tell me who your investors are. So a lot of people, if they have investors lined up, that's great. If you don't, you can always just say, that part's not quite done. If they start asking you for a corporation, again, that's a cost. We try to leave that till closer to the end. Just tell them it's going to be a new corporation, and that'll come closer to the end. And then they start working on it. They start pulling all the stuff together, and then again they give you almost like a semi-commitment letter saying this is what it's going to look like for you. Now that is when you go, okay, so I've got the financing pretty much sewed up as long as everything that I've told them and been told is in fact truth, and you can prove it. Then they can start working on that, and you can start working on the rest of your stuff, which is going to start costing you money. So that's where you would order the building condition report, the environmental, maybe send in the deposit for the application fee for CMHC, which again is so much a door, and that's when you start incurring costs. But at any point up to there, you can back out of the deal. A lot of people are concerned, well, will I lose my deposit if I can't close the deal? Well, you won't. As long as you don't remove conditions. If you remove conditions, that deposit's gone. So you want to be pretty confident that you're going to be able to make this deal work before you ever remove conditions. And has it happened that we've lost money on a deal like that? Yes, because there's been times when we've went all the way to the end, and then the final environmental just didn't work for us. So in one instance for us, we were trying to buy a strip mall. And it was a great strip mall. It had a Safeway in it, a Scotiabank, a restaurant, a fitness center. It was just a really good one. And what we needed to do was upgrade it and give it a new facade, and it sounded like all the leases were going to be in place. So we figured out all that. We went through a legal team and got a limited partnership written up, cost of $12,000. And then right close to the end, we had the investors lined up and everything. And close to the end, the environmental showed that years ago there had been a dry cleaners in the building, and that they were pouring this product called, I think it was called Perk, if I remember correctly. And that's just the short name of it. There's a longer scientific name of it. But they were pouring it out the back door, and it was seeping into the ground. And although it was stabilized and hadn't moved, it was in this one certain area. And again, that all came out in the environmental report, which we paid for, only to find out that our lender wouldn't lend on it at that point. So we ended up, I can't remember exactly, but I would guess maybe around $20,000 out of our pocket, where we worked on that deal right till the end, and then the lender said no. And then in the long run, and then of course we ran out of time, so we just had to let it go. And in the meantime, an Alberta group came in and bought it and financed it and did exactly what we were going to do, and still own it to this day. So every time I drive back by that mall, I think, darn, I came this close from owning that thing. And you know what? If we would have had more time, or maybe a little bit more smarts, a little bit more experience, that was our first mall, we probably would have started looking at other financing. But this first lender was positive with us right from the day one. Like, everything about us looked good, everything about the deal looked good, but in the long run, it was a credit union, and they just pulled it based on the environmental alone. So that was a little sad, but what we call those are education expenses. So you know what, it is going to happen occasionally. You don't want your first deal that to happen to you, though, so be very, very careful with that. And we've had education expense since. We tried to buy a 400 unit, was it 400? Yeah, unit mobile home park here last spring, and we couldn't pull it together. There were some challenges with the deal that the lenders eventually told us, it just wasn't something that they wanted to be part of. It was a little bit messy. We could understand that it was a little bit messy, but we felt like we could handle it. But after a lot of back and forth and legal costs, and we lost our first deposit because we went past our deadline, but we're still positive we could get it done, so we let it go. I think it ended up costing like $40,000 on that deal that we ended up losing. But you know what? You don't start there, and you don't do that if it's really going to be detrimental to your whole overall plan. That was something that we were willing to take on. We felt the risk was worth it, that we should be able to get it done, and sometimes you just can't. So be wary of that. Understand the monetary costs going in, and save yourself a lot of headaches when you're buying your first multifamily deal. And like I said, if you need my help getting your multifamily and your passive income on the go, reach out to me at edna@ednakeep.com, and have a really, really good day, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Hey, hi Kathy, hi Warren, nice to see you guys on. How's things going? Talk to you soon, bye-bye.